romance readers. I am Liz Donatelli. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance, the #1 romance novel talk show on YouTube. Author and 3-time show guest Leonie Mack discusses her contemporary romance set in Italy, A Match Made in Venice. Leonie also chats about Venetian glassmaking, her research visit to the floating city, and the inclusion of Donatelli in her novel. And Leonie plays PERICOLO, or Italian Jeopardy. Enjoy, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hi, Leonie. Welcome back to Reader Seeks Romance.
Hi, Liz. It's nice to be here again.
Congratulations on the release of your contemporary romance, A Match Made in Venice. It is now out in the world.
Thank you. Hooray. The story of a visual merchandiser, so the person who puts together the window displays for a department store in London. And her department store has decided that they want a glass theme for next year's Christmas window display. And if you think where is the spiritual home of glassmaking, it is the island of Murano in the Venice lagoon. And so she is sent to Murano to sign an artist who's very internationally well known to do a centerpiece. But of course, when she arrives, it's not as simple as she was hoping, and he is a bit of a character and is not interested in working with a department store. And so they have to go through various professional and personal negotiations, and then over time become friends, and then a bit more than friends, and then have to work all that out at the end.
Why glassmaking? Did the glassmaking part come first, and then you said, oh, glassmaking, that leads me to Murano, and you love Italy? What came first?
I think I'd strictly say it actually was the glassmaking. The book is winter. Christmas is in it, but it's not a Christmas story. It's a winter story. But you know, I had in my mind thinking about these wintry things with lights, etc. And then I thought of glass. And it's actually years and years and years ago, before I ever thought of becoming an author, I had pictured some kind of story where there was a glassmaker as the hero, which is kind of strange, these things that end up happening, 10 years later. And so it was actually the glass that came first. And then as I started planning it, it was kind of Venice is this dream location for a story.
You mentioned in your blog that visiting Venice was the wildest research trip ever. Mm-hmm. So tell me about that.
The main reason why it was wild was because I had to just fit it in with life, which meant that I went alone with my 3 kids because my husband had to work. And we took the train because I don't really drive. And so, and we just got passes for the vaporetti, the boats, and we just went boating, me and the kids. Certainly then when we were there, you get the bakery full of biscuits. Oh, the biscuits. Right, would you, I don't know, would you still call them cookies in the US?
Probably.
They're their own thing, and mm-hmm. Coming from the UK, they're also crazy about biscuits there.
Yeah.
I mean, Australia too. We've got our own range of biscuits. Sure. But they're just it's the vanilla and it's the butter. Just kind of they're just I think it is mainly the vanilla is just a really strong note in them. Yes. But anyway, so we ate biscuits.
Very good.
me and the kids ate biscuits.
Steady diet of biscuits.
We did also, we went to the beach where the same beach that Didi and Piero see when they're on the Lido di Venezia. And we saw the lighthouse. So that was, I'd never been there. When I was actually writing the scene, I'd never been to that spot. So it was quite nice after the fact to take the kids there. So that's what I mean. The pandemic time was a bit strange, researching all these places and then going.
Right.
It was actually kind of cool. And there's a specific place that I chose so that I didn't get my geography mixed up. I picked a spot where the apartment was and where Piero's studio is and where Salvatore's studio is. those buildings are not real. I invented them, but I picked a spot where it would be, and then kind of could, so that I could keep my geography in making sense. I didn't suddenly have them taking too long to get to somewhere that would have been right next door or something. And so then when I actually walked past the spot where it was supposed to be, that was quite fun.
Was there an actual building there? Was there a house there? Just coincidentally?
So where the apartment, where I imagine the apartment being, I mean, it looks exactly as it looks in the book. So I could almost imagine that the apartment was really there. Awesome. So, but you know, that's the power of the internet, really, for writing these things. There's so much inspiration and so many things you can check remotely, thankfully. Otherwise, us people writing the armchair travel during a pandemic wouldn't have a hope. And
I just noticed as you were talking, is that a glass necklace? Did you get that from Murano?
Yep, there you are.
Oh, wow. So that's authentic. Oh, I love it. Oh, so, that's substantial. That's nice.
I have something else with me. This is what my kids and I picked out when we were on holidays.
Oh, please show.
Yeah, I forgot about my props. So
they're two turtles.
The light right. So, yeah, it's two turtles. So I need some. It needs to be backlit a little bit so you can see the green.
I could see green.
Yeah, and then there's gold. The technique of putting little flecks of gold in glass was invented in Murano in the 1800s. It's called aventurina,
which is mentioned in the book.
Cool.
It's mentioned in the book too. Yeah,
I can't remember what made it in and what didn't. But yeah, so so that was what the kids and I picked out.
Oh, that's beautiful.
When we were there, went with 3 kids into a glass shop.
Your description of the glass making, the glass blowing process, and the artistry involved, and it's very technical. You describe everything. You would think that you yourself had made glass. Have you ever made a glass artwork?
My son has blown a Christmas bauble at a Christmas market before. That's about the closest we've got to. But it was interesting because at least, you know, I got some concept of how little you actually need to fill up a bubble. This is where you kind of see the magic behind the curtain, which is YouTube. I mean, most of the really accessible glassmaking to see is lamp work, where they have a lamp and they sort of twist the glass. And that's still really fascinating to watch. But if you want to see the real studio glass artists, there's not really that many places that you can go and see. So, I mean, you can, the museum on Murano would, or the certain studios on Murano would do it. And there's also in New York State, the Corning Museum of Glass, and they have an amazing YouTube channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I mean, at the beginning, before I started writing, I watched lots, and that was where you get that sense in the book when Dee Dee just loses track of time when she's in the studio with him.
Yes.
Because it's like that. If you ever want to relax, just go and watch a glassmaking video. It's amazing. It's just so slow, and the sort of rhythm of it, and it was and you just watch these people, and it's quite fascinating. Once I started diving into the research, it really did just continue, because and glass, of course, also has industrial uses, and so just the combination, just the material is so fascinating. You know, even as you know, eyeglasses, obviously modern ones are probably not made of glass, right? But still, that's because it has optical qualities, which makes it then, as an object and an artistic object, the potential really interesting.
I think it's very sexy because you have to be in, like, you're sweating from all the heat. And even Piero, he's always like sweat's always clinging to him, and his muscles are pumping as he's twirling glass and shaping it. So I thought that it was a very sensual art form, more so than any other. I was surprised by my reaction to it, as I was just like, oh my. Well done on selecting something that is not typical when you think of an artist. But very, very kind of erotic. He's like throwing things
That
on
was
sticks.
kind of the point. Yeah. I mean, there is a reason why I wrote it, so that he didn't want her in the studio with him up until
Yes.
it was time.
Yes. That was such a sexually fraught tension situation. Yeah, I know that was good. I found your novel triply romantic because you have the romantic love between Didi and Piero. You have the romance of this fairy tale, floating city of Venice and their customs and their culture and the language. And then you have the romance of a muse, right? Being that special person that inspires this artist to great works. I loved that. And I think that needs to be put out there, that your novel is romantic in every sense of the word. As far as muses go, did you have a muse? There
were certainly some things that I held on to while I was drafting that were kind of the zone, I suppose. One of them, there was the spark at the beginning. There was a particular actor that I found when I was working something out for Italy Ever After. I came across this actor who I had realized I then had seen in something before. And it's quite rare. Normally I have to pick the actors when I'm finished, but with this one, I was kind of like, a slight sort of the graying hair, that all came together to start forming this artist. That actor, his name is Luca Argentero. So that was a spark of inspiration. And then through it, I found a punk band from the Veneto region. I think they're actually from the mainland, but they certainly have a lot of connection to Venice anyway.
What's the name of this punk band?
Rumatera. And they really just captured it for some reason. And so I was listening to this punk music. I mean, it's nothing too hard. They're kind of like, imagine Blink-182, but they sing in Veneto dialect. It's they're just a bunch of blokes, and for some reason, and then through their songs, I would kind of gradually pick certain things up, and everything I picked up was like just captured this completely irreverent sense of humor, and just this you just can't take it seriously attitude, which I certainly wanted to be in the book as well, because I mean, can you imagine living in this place? So that's this, yeah. Or being from there as well, and in Piero's case, he has generations of people in the same profession. His surname is even just connected to the profession, and so it's all a little bit fantastical, really. It's quite fun to find something from the local region to really give it some authenticity while I'm sitting at my computer drafting, which is the less romantic part.
I wanted to publicly thank you so much for the incredibly kind mention in your acknowledgments and for including Donatelli in the book. How difficult was it for you to figure out where to place Donatelli within the story?
I mean, I didn't want to name a big character because I'm sure that would embarrass you, poor Liz, if I had called him Piero Donatello. No. I kind of like the mystery of it as well, because I don't know, Liz, you're a woman of mystery.
I like to think so. The category is glass. Cinderella lost one of these.
Oh. What is a glass slipper?
Correct. A person who lives in this should not throw stones.
Oh, what is a glass house?
Very good. A play by Tennessee Williams, first performed in 1944.
Oh, what is a glass menagerie?
Very good.
I've seen it. Oh, that was an amazing thing. When you used to live in London, the plays.
The title of Annie Lennox's 1992 hit song.
1992. I probably had my sister probably had a best of cassette with it on slightly before my time. Well, I was 8.
You were 8 in 1992. Oh, I was in high school.
Well, it's not coming to me.
Okay. What is walking on broken glass? The sequel novel to Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll.
What is Through the Looking Glass?
Got it. Sung by a flaxen-haired singer, this song begins with lyric, "Once I had a love, and it was a gas."
Oh, I thought you were going to sing it.
No, I wasn't going to. What is Heart of Glass by Blondie? Well, Leonie, it has been a pleasure to have you back on Reader Seeks Romance to talk about Venice and romance and glass.
Thanks, Liz. So much fun as always. Keep up the good work.